This is how we normally see things. This is blurry vision. This is double vision. And this is both, the way I used to see things before GAPS. I had 9 different symptoms: double vision, blurry vision, tinnitus, ear pain, and many other things. Life was very hard for me. I remembered that I would be only able to read about 5 minutes per day before I would be completely exhausted and I'd feel really dizzy. As a little kid, for the most part, I was pretty healthy, though there were a couple health bumps along the way. It was around when I was 9 years old that we started noticing these symptoms, and they just started to really affect my life. I was biking, and suddenly I just lost control of my balance, and I landed on my side on the pavement, and I had really bad knee injury. So I had to be in a wheelchair for a little bit just to get better. And the symptoms kept getting worse. First it was just double vision and blurry vision, which I had, I think, all of my life. I just didn't realize it because I thought that's how everyone saw things. But I started having other things that I had never had before, like the tinnitus, the ear pain, and I started having great chronic fatigue. And I was scared, and things were just really hard. I remember doing art, and I really enjoyed art, but it was frustrating sometimes because what normally someone would see like one line, I would see 2. And all the time I'd have to divide everything by 2 for things to make sense and for me to draw good pictures. So it was like doing math 24/7. I was getting so bad off, my parents were getting worried. What was going to happen? Would I get worse? Would I get better? What were they supposed to do? So we did what most people would do. We went to doctors, lots of doctors, and it kept escalating, We'd go to the normal doctor and he'd send us to another kind of doctor who would specifically do eyes or ears, or I even had an MRI, and nothing seemed to help, and we just started feeling more and more desperation. What could we do? And then this diet came up that's called GAPS, and we had heard about it before, but we weren't really willing to do it. Our health problems weren't that bad, and GAPS seemed like a very totally overwhelming thing to do. But right now, in the moment, things were getting out of control. Things were getting really scary, and I started to face the question, would I die? Would I die from these kinds of things? Because my health just kept going more downhill. And we prayed about it, and we felt God leading us to GAPS. So we decided we were going to give it a go. We were going to do GAPS. We started with the intro of GAPS, which is very strict, and you have to discipline yourself. If you're that desperate, and God has called you to do something, you're willing to do anything. And you're willing to struggle for your healing. After the intro, we plan to just do GAPS, the diet, for 2 more years. That's what they said would usually be good enough for you to get all the healing you needed, so we went along with that plan. In the middle of those 2 years, we went to Papua New Guinea as missionaries. We were new to Papua New Guinea, so we went to this orientation, and in this orientation you had to do a lot of hiking outside, and Papua New Guinea has lots of steep mountains, which was a problem for me because I still had a lack of balance and a lack of strength. I was stronger than I was when I started, but I still had a lot of problems. So I'd hike and I would be really slow, and sometimes I would be on the edge of a mountain and we were afraid that I would fall off the edge. But God was merciful and protected me from falling off the edge. Then we got to our missionary center. And this was now, we'll go ahead in time. It was about 1.5 years of doing gaps. And this incredible thing happened. I was doing school and I was looking down at my letters. And by now I was like 12 years old. And the letters were clear. I could see them just like everybody else. No double vision, no blurry vision. I could see them. They were beautifully clear. I told my mom and we just celebrated. It was one of the best days of my life. Just seeing how God worked in this diet. I encourage you to just look into gaps if you have any of these kind of mysterious symptoms that just aren't going away and you've been struggling with for years. And please don't throw gaps out the window. We did that before and we have regretted it because we think maybe if we had done gaps earlier, my symptoms wouldn't have gotten as bad as they did. So I encourage you to just think about it, to pray about it, and follow where God is leading. Thank you for giving me some of your time, and thanks for watching. I pray that this helps you.